Hello and welcome to the fourth and final episode of this amazing series. And it's I really don't want this to stop. And honestly, sir, I'm thinking of extending this. I'm thinking of extending because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about, but we're definitely going to bring you back soon because I know there's a lot of questions, business owners, and we're all trying to get everybody to be successful because if the business owners are successful, the designers are successful as well. And I'm also
True.
talking money wise. So in this session, it's just strictly Q&A. It's dedicated to our audience. They've sent in loads of questions, and unfortunately, because of time, we may not be able to take all of them, but
All the
we'll try and
questions.
take as much as we can because of time. And so, like I said, if you want to know more about Mr. Tola, you can visit his social media page. You can also check out the Pro Up Masterclass, the YouTube channel. All the links will be made available for you. And if you have questions you want to ask to Mr. Tola, or you can just drop it on the comment section. We'll definitely get back to you on it, give you feedback on it. That I can assure you. Now, so let's get this session started. So our first question is actually from Richard Agu-Edu. His name is Richard Agu-Edu, and he's asking, how do you move from simply designing to building a personal brand professionally? That's the question Richard is asking. How do you move from simply designing to building a personal brand professionally?
Professionally. That's a good question, Richard. Building a personal brand. Now there's always the business brand and there's the personal brand. That means, well, you might have a brand for your business, which is like I have a brand for my business, Total Labi Design. I have a brand called Pro Up Masterclass. I have a brand called Premium Mentoring. Um, for this brand, there's something I want people to remember about them. I want them to remember Tora Labi as a very effective, very efficient design company that specializes in um, logo design, identity design, and branding. You understand? I want people to remember Premium Mentoring for being a platform that raises a new generation of designers that are forward thinking, are go getters, and are very successful. I want people to remember Prop Masterclass for a platform where you get value when it comes to design business in Africa and Nigeria. And then I have to think of what I want people to remember Tola Labi for. And that's where a personal brand comes in. How do you want people to remember you? Now, if you want to build a personal brand, move from being a designer to being a personal brand, it means that you now have to start thinking less about the business aspect, which is how can I get clients to buy from me? How can I make a profit? A lot of times, a personal brand is built on connection. You understand? Who do you want to connect with? Who do you want to connect with you? You understand? So it must come to a place where people can say, you know what, I'm a designer. I've never done a design job with Richard before, or I'm not even a designer. I've never employed Richard before, but I like going to Richard's page because of the content he puts up, because I connect with him. You understand? So you must think of who do you want to connect with? Who do you want to connect with as a personal brand? Whose story aligns with yours? You understand? Who are the people who feel, oh, Richard understands me. He understands me as a person. And to build a personal brand, you can't be guarded. You can't be guarded. You can't be someone that is private and feels like if, oh, I can't share this. I can't share my vulnerabilities. I can't share my mistakes. I can't share my flaws. The people with the strongest personal brands are open. They live open lives. Not like if they let you know what's going on in their bedroom or what's going on in their house, but they are open with mistakes they are making or mistakes they have made. They are open with being vulnerable. They are open with saying, oh, I'm afraid of this, or I'm not perfect in this area, because that's what builds connection, that emotional attachment of this person understands my journey. So if you want to build a personal brand, you have to be put out content that is more than design, more than what you do as a business. It now has to be what your life is about. You have to let people know what your values are. You have to live your values. So if your values are faith-based, you have faith-based values. That means that you believe in God, you believe in heaven, you believe in hell, you believe in living a good life, you believe in life after death. Then you need to start putting out values like that, content like that, that shows what you believe in. If you believe in politics, or you believe in good governance, then you can't restrict yourself to just saying, come and do a logo with me, come and do a logo with me. You have to talk about what your dream is in terms of good politics, good governance, and what your passions are. You understand? So it has to be you being secure enough to talk to people about what you believe and what your fears are, what your insecurities are. And you realize that before you know, someone will align with you and just say, Richard is my guy. And you're their guy because you're not because you're a good designer, but because they kind of see your life and they see a little bit of them in you. So a good personal brand is one where people can see a little bit of them in you. And they can only see a little bit of them in you if you are open to showing them who you really are.
Wow. So, Richard, I hope you're listening. So that answer was for you, and I trust he answered your question. And our next question is Sophia Enoch. Sophia Enoch is asking, okay, I would like to know in details more on logo concepts. She said in details. I don't know how. I don't know if the time will allow us to discuss logo concepts.
Yeah.
But I think she just want to know more on logo
Logo.
concept. Maybe if you can just spare a few minutes.
All right. All right, Sophia. The thing is that it takes years to know all in detail about logo concepts. I don't know all in details about logo concepts. I'm knowing more and more every day. But one thing I'll let you know, the core of logo design or any design whatsoever is communication. If you want to be a good logo designer, you must learn to be able to communicate effectively. I know communication is two-way. You learn to talk, you learn to listen, take feedback, give advice. That's what it's all about. So you must be a good communicator. Logo design is not about, oh man, I want to try out this new font I just downloaded. You understand? Or try out this concept I just saw. It is you sitting down with a client and asking them what their values are, asking them what their inspiration is, asking them who their audience is. Where are you going with this brand? Then you going with that information to do some research about everything they've told you. It might be research by what you read, it might be research by what you think, it might be research by what you see. You understand? So, but just go and do some research and come up with a solution to that person. Now, to that client's problem. Now, that solution might not be what's really it might not have exciting graphics that just feels like if that shows your technical skills to your peers, because that's a mistake a lot of designers make. We live to impress other designers, so we want other designers to say, oh, nice job, 100 likes from 100 designers. You don't need 100 likes from 100 designers. You need one like from one appreciative client that feels like if you solve their problem. If that is what you get, that is worth more than 1,000 likes from other designers. So it's not about impressing yourself or impressing other designers. It's about solving a problem. And you only solve a problem by communicating. So if you know how to communicate, that is 90% of the detail you would need to be an effective logo designer. All of that things is just go and learn how to use a software that allows you to be able to express what you think in your mind. So that might be CorelDRAW, it might be Illustrator, it might be whatever software. I don't focus too much on software, but I would say just learn to communicate with the client.
Okay, so Sophia, hope you're hearing. Learn to communicate. Communication is king in this case. Now, our next question is from Ichipi Efe, and Ichipi, please forgive me if I didn't get the pronunciation correctly. How do we rebrand a media company that have some issues with clients over time? The funny thing that in our last episode we talked about rebranding. So, how do we rebrand a media company that have some issues with clients over time?
Okay, well, That question is pretty vague. It seems a little bit vague because number one, and I say rebranding must be intentional. So what is the issue they're having? Another what I told the person that whose question I answered the last question, communication. You are rebranding to solve a problem. You are designing to solve a problem. So what is that problem? What is that client problem they're having, that media company? Is it that the client is feeling when they bring advertisement to them, they don't advertise, or they are slandering them, or what? What is it? So, and why does this have to lead to a rebrand? You understand? So it has to be, you must understand what the problem is first and know what this media company is going through. You understand? Is it that they are owing too many clients and those ones are suing them, and they kind of feel like if we don't want to align ourselves with this lawsuit based entity anymore. We want to start a new company, and so they might want to rebrand in that sense. But it has to be clearer than that has a client problem. That client problem could be anything. So if you understand what the client problem is, then we can know how to go about rebranding. But if the client problem is still vague, the identity will be vague. The solution will be vague too. So you need to be clearer about what the problem actually is.
Okay, so Ichipi, please, I think you can send him more details about the issue, and then we can give you a proper feedback on how to help. Whether you need a rebranding, maybe you probably need a change of attitude or a not necessarily rebranding. So
rebranding, exactly.
So
True.
that's that. Now, our next question is from Dorcas Olawale, and Dorcas is asking, how do you create a niche and not get stuck? How do you create a niche and not get stuck?
Okay. Funny enough, someone asked me this question yesterday in a webinar I had. This very question, I'm not sure whether it was Dorcas that was still on that platform that's just thinking about this creating a niche. And I find it hard to okay, maybe what they're trying to say, because I said yesterday, how do you get stuck with a niche? Is it that, okay, I think what, and now it's getting clearer to me, I think what they might be trying to say is not restrict yourself, you understand, to this industry that you cannot move out to other things. I think the misconception people have about, and other people are so scared of niching. They feel like if I niche in, let's say, web design, I will not get logo design jobs anymore. If I niche in logo design, I will not get UI UX jobs anymore. And nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. The beauty of niching, see, I niche in logo design. I decided to niche in identity and branding, logo design. But at the moment, I'm not doing any logo design job, but I'm doing about 3 signage jobs for a company. I'm doing 1 consulting for a company. I'm consulting with them about leadership and stuff like that. There are other things that have come through. I'm doing 1 print job for an individual right now. So it's nothing could be further from the truth. When you niche, you become an expert. And when you're an expert, it builds people's trust in you. So you see, what happened when I decided to niche in logo design is I started doing really good logos for people, because I was doing logos day in, day out. And what happened from that is that the companies I did logos for were like, Otola, we love this logo you did for us. Very amazing logo, very amazing identity. Do you do websites too? Do you do signages too? Or some of them, they won't go by, don't ask me, do you do? They said, look, you have to do our website. You have to do our signage. And that's how I now get to network with other people that do websites. And I now say, okay, you know what, I can do it. And I meet a designer that has also decided to niche in web design. And I tell the person, look, I have this client that needs me to do this. Bring your expertise here. Because the reason why the client is asking me to do this is because they see my expertise. So I want one else that is an expert. So I get work for that person too. So you can see that because clients have learned to trust me as an expert in one area, they feel I'm an expert in every other area. So when you niche, you realize that people will present you with more jobs than in other diverse areas, because they just feel like this guy that is so good in this, must be so good in this other
It's
thing.
something
So
else.
so you wouldn't get stuck. Trust me, if you niche, you will never get stuck. In fact, you see to open more doors for you as a creative.
Okay, so Dockers niching actually opens more doors for you and not necessarily getting you stuck. Wow. So our next question, okay, actually this is three questions. I don't know if you
Oh, three questions.
three questions, and it's from Hassana Shuaibu. And Hassana is asking, okay, this is the first question. Do I read out the three questions and you at once, or I should take them one at a time?
Okay, let's take them one by one.
Oh, okay, okay. So her first question is, what is the best social media platform to sell gift items? So I think Asana is a business owner that is into gift items. So she's asking the best social media platform to sell gift items.
Okay. Well, I think I would say if you're selling gift items, people are moved by what they see. So it has to be a social media platform that allows you to easily upload photos as easily as possible, where people can go through. It's more like a gallery. So I'll think of something like Instagram. I'll think of something like Facebook, something that can really archive your stuff well. Twitter is more thought-based, so you're writing more of your thoughts. It might not really work well for you because this is visual, and you might want somewhere where you can get feedback to, where people can easily ask you for the price of your stuff and tell you what they think about your stuff and stuff. So I would say very easily any platform. I wouldn't say something like Snapchat because Snapchat is here today, gone tomorrow. So
Yeah.
it's like no. So that won't really work for you. You want something that when you someone might want to go to something you posted last year December. You understand? You want it to stay there. You understand? And Instagram is just beautiful for that. So I would say Instagram number one. I would say Facebook number two. I would say WhatsApp status number three. Why I would say WhatsApp status is because that place is full of people that you know already that have your contact for some reason. So trust might not be a big issue with them, unlike with Instagram and Facebook, where you are a stranger to people on your on your WhatsApp contact. You are not a stranger. They know you. For them to have you on their status, they've met
You
with you
know you.
one way or the other. So the trust you've already jumped that hurdle of trust. So Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp.
Okay. Her second question is, must one have a website or an online store to get more customers? Must one have a website or an online store to get more customers?
Um, well, yeah. I feel when you say an online store, could it still be social media? If you're talking about an online store, I'm still thinking of a social media platform. Yes, it would be good to have it. If you have a website, even better. Because there's this thing that they say, don't don't go and build your mansion on rented land, because it's always good to have that web presence where if tomorrow Instagram should implode, and it could happen, it can happen. How many years ago there was something called High Five, when before Facebook, High Five, it was the biggest thing then. Before you knew it, nobody's on High Five anymore. High Five has folded off, but it was the first social. Well, for me, it was the first. It was there before Facebook was so popular then. So you never know. You don't want to lose all your everything you've been building in terms of portfolio because of a company, that a platform that you don't truly own. They're just renting it out to you. If Mark Zuckerberg should wake up tomorrow and say, I'm not interested in this thing anymore, he pulls the plug, then you've lost all your clients, you've lost all your photos, you've lost all your content. So a website is good. It's good to have a website. It will help you eventually as a backup. And then, all these social media platforms, they come up with different rules every day. Just say, okay, you know what? You should not post anything that is red again on Instagram. What can you do? You can't do anything. Zuckerberg
Yeah.
has said he doesn't like red anymore. It's his house. If you want to do, if you put red there, he will throw you out. But on your website, nobody's going to tell you not to put what you want to put up there. So it's good to have a website. I would advise if you can, please do.
So Asana, if you can get a website, please do if you can. Now, her last question is, for my business, I want to have different items. Should I have a different page for the different items? So maybe she's talking about social media page. Should I have a different page for the different items? That's what she asked.
Well, it depends on what these items are. It depends. I don't think it's more about the items. It's more about the classification of these items. Now, if you are selling baby products, remember that's already a classification. So if you have baby bibs, baby caps, baby shoes, for sure put all those items up. But if the classifications are now different, whereby you have baby stuff and you're now selling car spare parts, separate those things, man. Because I don't want to be looking at baby socks and the next thing I should be seeing a car radiator.
Tire.
You understand a car tire? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
So it's not about the items, it's about the classification. Can these items be classified together under one umbrella? If they can, you don't need a different page. But if they can't, by all means, have a different page because they're going to have a different audience.
Okay, so Hasana is about the classification, not about the item. So I think you've heard it. What is the category or the classification of the items you're selling? That would determine whether you should separate or use the same social media page. Okay, so our next question is from Tiwa Olubebi. Yeah, Olubebi. And Tiwa is asking, oh, it's a personal question to you, or it's a question directed to you. And how did you grow into being the king you are? So we call you Logo King. I think Tiwa wants to know how you grew into being Logo King.
That's a good question, Tiwa. And that's a good. I don't have so many people asking that question. That's the first time anybody has asked me that question.
Oh.
Well, the truth of the matter is, it was intentional, and I think I didn't wait for validation or permission from anyone to say I was a Logo King. And I think that's the mistake a lot of designers kind of make. They wait for validation. They just say, "Oh, if this my boss can tell me that I'm good enough, then I'll go out there and say I'm the best." Wait for validation from others. But you validate yourself. You understand? And that Logo King story is so interesting because I used to when I got on Instagram, I wrote that I was the logo guy. That's what I put there because I wanted people to remember me as the person they could go to for designing logos. But my wife kind of looked at it and said, she told me, I saw that you put logo guy on your Instagram bio details. I said, yeah. I said, no, you're not the logo guy, you're the Logo King. And I felt, man, that's too arrogant now. That people will say I'm being proud. I said, well, you might as well just put it out there because that's how I see you. And I feel that's how you should see yourself. And I was like, people are going to attack me for this thing. And I put it up and nobody said anything. And people just got used to it. And people just started calling me, my peers started calling me Logo King. And you see, I just learned a lesson in business. There are only extremes. There's no humility. There's no middle line or let me be humble. You understand? You always say what you want to be. And that's where that Logo King description came up. But how did I go from being that to being considered someone that people would call me the Logo King? Is because I said it's intentional. And I decided very early in my career that I wanted to be the most influential designer out of Nigeria. Very early. And I knew that to do that, I had to connect with as many designers as possible. I knew that if I want to be the most influential, it means I have to serve the most people. And I made a point of duty that, look, I would serve every designer that I meet that reaches out to me. I will serve them. I would serve them with my content. I will serve them with my advice. I will never be too busy to attend to a designer. I might not attend immediately, but I will attend to them, and they will become the core of my focus. And so it was more about, oh, look, I have to become smaller to make other designers bigger. and by doing so, I will get bigger. You understand? So that was my intention. I just made a decision very early that look, there will be designers in Nigeria that will be richer than me. There will be designers in Nigeria that will have more followers than me, but I will make it very hard for there to be a designer that is more influential than me and that will affect more lives of designers than I would. And that's what I wake up with every morning. I want to be the most influential designer in Nigeria. I want to be the most influential designer out of Africa. And that just comes with giving and serving. And that's what I set out to do.
Wow. So Tiwa, you've heard it from the Logo King himself. So we want to thank you for being the first to ask the question, and also
Yeah.
this show is the first to hear the Logo King answer why he is the Logo King. Okay, so the next question is from Simon Ogumka, and Simon is asking, how long does it take to design a logo? That's what Simon is asking.
Well, I think it's relative. It's relative. Some people take, like I was talking to a designer early this week, and I saw his rate card, and in his delivery timeline, it said 3 days to design a logo. And I had to contact him. I said, "This 3 days, are you sure this 3 days?" He said, 3 days is okay for me. I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yes." I said, "I can't, because I can't do a logo in 3 days. It's very hard for me to do a logo." I said, "And you do all that research and talking with the client and coming up with ideas in 3 days." And that's where we kind of hit a chord, because I said, okay, maybe I don't get to do a lot of research. I said, yeah, because that 3 days is just a very short time. I think time for designing logos, the turnover time for logo design in Nigeria is very short because clients are very impatient, number one. Number two, Nigerians are not good planners. So someone needs a logo. He has realized he registered this company last year, but now he's needing a logo right now because he needs to apply for a contract that will close tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying? So you're going to put that pressure on you to design that logo so you can get that contract, you can get that bid for that contract in. So bad planning. But I think logo design should take a reasonable amount of time. If you're looking reasonably, I think if you're looking at something like from a month, 2 months, it takes time. I tell people at that FedEx logo because it really blew my mind knowing that it took up to 9 months to do that logo that you see everywhere in every when you see a blog that talk about great logos of our time or logos with hidden messages, you always see FedEx there. It's not by chance. That's 9 months of intensive work to come up with that. So it takes time. So I would say it depends, but I would say give it as much time. What I would advise you to do is if it takes you 1 week to do a logo, ask for 2 weeks. If it takes you 2 weeks, ask for 3 weeks. If it takes you 3 weeks, ask for 4 weeks. Always add to the time you can so that you're not under pressure to deliver. And you can design, go to bed, wake up, look at it, and see whether you still like what you've done. Because there's always something you can add to a logo. I never want to give a client a logo, then now call the person back in 2 weeks and say, sir, please, I realized I could have made this thing better. Can you just send that logo back to me? You just seem unserious, you understand? So ask for more time, even though you can do it within a record time.
Okay, so Simon, get as much time as you can. That's you've heard it. And next question is from Olalekan Olatumbi, and Olalekan is asking, what brand colors would you advise for a food and agricultural business that wants to provide safe, nutritious, and chemical-free food for its target market? So, asking advice on brand colors.
Yeah. This issue with brand colors, I think I've said it a lot on my Instagram page. I think it's also on my Pro Masterclass. I think these days there are so many brands out there that a lot of times you can't choose colors for function. You choose color to stand out. You understand? So colors like serve more of an identification purpose than a functional purpose. So back in the days, if you said agriculture, people would say green. or brown, something earthy. You understand? But now, if you see agriculture using purple, don't be surprised because it helps them to stand out. Because now you have like 1,000 agricultural companies all using green, brown, green, brown, green, brown, green, brown. When the guy with the yellow, with the purple comes, he's going to stand out like a sore thumb. And standing out is what you need in branding. It's very important. Remember what I said about in our last session when I said that conversation starter is very important. So when people can say, an agricultural company, why are you using purple? That's already a beginning of a conversation. And then they begin to remember you more. So I would say, look at the industry, look at their competitors, check out what the competitors are using and try to go the other way. Try to go the other way, you understand? Just for the sake of standing out. That is how branding is done these days.
Okay, Olalekan, just try and stand out. There is no brand color written on stone. Just try and stand out. Now, our next question is from Temitope Anthony Awi, and Temitope is asking, okay, this is about Corel Draw. Now, why is Corel Draw looked down upon, even though it's as capable as Illustrator?
That's a good question. I did a prop masterclass on this softwares I would recommend to designers. I did it about 2 years ago, and I think I've got one of the most views on that video. At the same time, I've got most of my harshest reactions on that video, harshest comments. People, if you go to that video, man, people insulted me. People say I don't know what I'm saying, stuff like that. And I said, look, it's not a personal thing, because I didn't mention Corel Draw as part of the softwares I would recommend to any designer. I said, use Illustrator instead of Corel Draw, and people were like up in arms about it. Now, I like Corel Draw. When I started designing, the first software I learned was Corel Draw. The only reason I stopped using Corel Draw, is 2 words: industry standard. Industry standard. That's what discouraged me from using Corel Draw. What is industry standard? It means if I were to leave Nigeria and go to Singapore to work as a designer, what software would they be using in Singapore for design? That's the software I want to learn. If I were to go from Nigeria to Canada, what software do they reckon with in Canada? That's what industry standard means. That's standard that everybody aligns with. Just like water is industry standard for solvents and fluids in the world. They drink water everywhere in the world. Some places they don't drink tea. Some places they don't drink Coke. Some places they don't drink Fanta. Some places they don't drink orange juice. Some cultures don't do that. But I've not heard of one place in the world that they don't drink water. You understand? And Adobe Suite is like the water in creative industry. If you want to be reckoned with as a designer anywhere, you need to understand how to use one Adobe Suite or not. I was working with a client, was it last year or 2 years ago? And after doing their branding, they were going to do production with a company in Dubai. And the lady said, you know what, I'll hook you up with my Dubai vendor. He's the one doing the production of the stuff. Give him the files he need. When I spoke to the people in Dubai, very big company in Dubai, I spoke to the person in charge. And the guy said, okay, you are the designer. All right, send us your Illustrator files, AI files. All we need is the AI files. He didn't say CDR files. He didn't say any other file. He said AI files. He just said it as a matter of fact. Imagine if I didn't use AI and I just said, all we have is CDR. It will make me look not so credible. Because I just said, okay, so I'm sure you have your AI files, send me your AI files and stuff like that. And I sent him the AI files and we were able to produce this thing and it looked so nice. That's industry standard. You understand? I lived in Canada for a while. Interestingly, Corel Draw was founded in Canada. They have the Corel Center, a very big place in Canada, very big establishment in Canada. But go to any creative organization in Canada, They don't use CorelDRAW. When I worked in Canada for a while, they said, "Do you know how to design?" Yes. I showed them my portfolio. They liked it. I resumed work. Immediately I resumed, they didn't ask me the software. Immediately I resumed work. What software was installed on their system? Photoshop, Illustrator, no CorelDRAW. You understand? So it's not a personal thing when I say CorelDRAW is not industry standard. I would advise you to learn Illustrator. It's just that it's not industry standard.
Okay, so Anthony, I think you've heard that. There's no
Yeah.
beef.
So
We don't
yeah,
have a
Anthony, no
beef with
beef, no beef at
Coral
all. I
Draw.
love CorelDRAW just as
It's
much as you
just
do.
industry standard. It's just industry standard. Wow, there's loads of questions. I think we should just take one more and we can forward the rest to you and you can answer and then we can send feedback. And please, if you have questions, you can drop it on the comment section and we'll try and as much to pick as much as we can and then get back to you. Now, okay, there's actually two questions, so we can wrap up with the two questions from this particular this Benjamin Osage, and Benjamin is asking, his first question is, how can a person position his or herself for clients? So I think that's talking about personal branding. How can a
Yeah.
person position his or herself for clients? I know you've talked about personal branding, but I don't know if there's anything you want to tell Osage,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Benjamin.
Yeah, I think what Osage is saying is, well, it might not actually be in the line of personal brand because it's talking about for clients. So it's talking more about business right now. And how do you position yourself for clients to say, I want to do with you? Now you have to know what clients want. You understand? You have to know what clients want. I was telling a group of designers this last week when I had a webinar with them. I said, I watched a movie some years ago. It's called What Women Want, and it was Mel Gibson acted in it. And in this movie, you could hear the mind of women, and you got to understand what women really want in men. Now, as a designer, you need to be able to go into the client's mind and understand what clients want in designers. Now, I tell people there are three things that every client is looking out for to make them comfortable in working with you as a designer. Number one thing, what they ask themselves, is your work good enough? Is your work attractive? So your work must be attractive. Your work must be good. Your work must be good. Remember, your client is contacting you for work. So you must show that you know how to do the work. If you don't know how to do the work, they're not interested. You understand? So the work is the foundation. The second thing the client is asking themselves before they work with you is your price attractive? Are your rates attractive? Now that's very important. And where people miss it is because some people think all clients want low rates. A low rate is always attractive. No, some clients are absolutely put off by low rates. For them, it tells them that you don't know your work. There was one time I was trying to bid for a job with DFID, and the person I had on the inside said, "Look, Tola, your work cannot be too cheap, because immediately your work is cheap. That's the first thing they cut you out. They don't even look at your portfolio anymore because your work is too cheap." You don't believe that this guy, for him to be this cheap, doesn't know his work. So you must know how to charge authentically. You understand, and that makes your price more attractive. You understand. So you must not be charging to attract the client with low price. You must be charging for value. You understand? So that's what the client asks themselves: is your rate attractive? Number two, number three, the third thing the client always asks themselves to make you attractive to them is your personality attractive? Because clients don't want to work with someone that will give them headache, someone that will be rude to them, someone that they will call, won't pick up their calls, someone that they will email, the person will reply them, someone that won't like to take correction, all those things. Clients don't like those kind of things. So they're looking for, do you have a good personality? Are you relatable? Are you friendly? Are you cordial? So those kind of things are very important. So 3 Ps: your portfolio, your price, your personality. If you have those 3 boxes checked, then you can attract any client.
Okay, so Benjamin, 3 Ps. Make sure your 3 Ps box are checked. Now, his second question, which is, how can I attract clients for my brand? So I think it's part B of the same question. How can I attract clients for my brand?
Hmm. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. I think it's asking the same question.
Yes.
How do you attract clients for your brand? It's just the same thing of working on those 3 Ps. And one of the things I said in one of our sessions was repetition. You understand? Don't assume that you've said it once, the client will remember you in 2 weeks' time. No, the truth is, the time you are saying it, the client might not need your service. You understand? So don't think because they've seen you that one time, when they need the service, they'll just remember, oh, Benjamin is there. No, you must say it every single time so that when the time they need it comes, it aligns with the time you are saying it. You understand? So the client doesn't, it's not like, Benjamin, I should have called you. I just didn't remember you. You understand? So you must be repetitive. You must constantly put it out there what your brand does so that whenever the client needs it, you're at the fore of their memory and your brand is at the fore of their memory. So once you check those 3 boxes, those P, personality, price, and portfolio, remember to also constantly put it out there as much as possible.
Wow. Well, thank you very much. That's the last question. Unfortunately, we have to go, and we appreciate you for, it's been 4 amazing sessions, and I'm pretty sure the audience will attest to that. And I'll just have one personal question. Hope you will come back next time.
By all means, by all means, by all means.
Come back next time, because yes, I am pretty sure that we will have loads on loads of questions for you, because people will want to know more, people want to ask more. So hope you will come back, and thank you for saying definitely. So guys, that's a wrap on Let's Talk Branding with the Logo King, and just like you've heard, we might have a sequel to this series. Yeah, we might have another, there'll be a season 2. This is just a season 1.
Definitely.
I'm pretty sure you've enjoyed yourself. For those who we answered their questions, I'm pretty sure you know more now. And thank you very much, Mr. Tola Alabi. And I'll always say, like I keep saying, please, it's if you are interested in moving your business forward, go to his Pro Up Masterclass. It's not just for designers. It's not, if you're a business owner, you will find that channel like very, very efficient and effective for you to succeed as a business owner. And then you can follow, of course, Creative Fairy, and also follow me on my works. And also we run a brand identity design course. Like if you want to know more, like the lady, I think Dorcas, that asks more on logo concepts, we can take you on a more in-depth knowledge about logos and all. So till we'll meet again, maybe on our season 2. Goodbye, and thank you very much for joining us. See you all later. Bye.